Jason from Tuff Mounts. I'm here to introduce to you a new build that we're doing for Street Machine. This is going to be cool, rather iconic, very important. Let me introduce to you VU for You. VU for You is one of the classic Street Machine project cars. Now this started with a brand new Holden Ute, which then culminated into a cutting edge build that was then given away to a lucky Street Machine reader back in 2004. The Ute has been through a few sets of hands since then, so when it came up for sale recently, the Street Machine guys jumped on it. The plan here is we're going to give the car lots of love, bring it back to its former glory of what we all saw it back in 2004 when it was given away. We've got a lot of work to do, but it's going to be worth it. So, what makes this Ute special? Well, if you're old enough to remember when the LS1 powered VU Ute dropped in 2002, it was a pretty big deal. So the idea of doing a full top to bottom build on that kind of new hotness was very special. If you were into your Commodores in this era, VU for You was definitely a discussion point. The build was project managed by Street Machine's Craig Parker, and the custom paint was designed by Ryan Carter, who was the Street Machine Expression session guy for many years before doing a stint at the Chop Shop and then starting his United Speed Shop over in New South Wales. The radical thing about VU for You was that it applied traditional Street Machine ideas such as the big and littles to a brand spanking new car. With massive, for the time, 24-inch rear wheels and then 18s up the front to give it that classic Pro Street stance. So to get the Pro Street rate, the guys at Waddington Street Rods had to do a lot of modifications. They had to do a set of tubs, they had to modify all the lower control arms for the IRS to get the wheels in and sitting up higher so you could get, obviously allow for the bigger wheels. There's a lot of modifications that had to be done underneath, and then to also fit the airbags and get the thing to squat and give it the finished stance. And to get all of that working was, there's a fair bit of work involved in that, especially when it hadn't been done before. Shortened drive shafts and a lot of other intricacies. Once it had been tubbed and the guards stretched to accommodate the massive rear wheels, I was actually contacted by Craig because my previous business we did a lot of custom work on cars, and fiberglassing was one of the things that we were known for. And then we were told to essentially make a rear bumper bar for this car. So we had to keep in the style and keep in the lines, and obviously because the wheels are so big and the guards are short, guards are lengthened, so the rear bumper bar had to be shortened. There was a lot of custom work. So we wanted to keep the factory sort of look smooth and sleek and stylish, but not an aftermarket looking bumper bar. We basically designed and made this bar inside of, I think it was 3 days, which was not a lot of time. And here we go, 20 something years later, it's still on the car and still in very, very good condition. We originally had oval exhaust tips in there, which was sort of keeping in the style of the day, scalloped in number plates just to keep everything flowing. It's just a really nice, clean, subtle area. We then also had to fit a grill that was supplied by High-Tech Hot Rods. That was a billet grill, and obviously with the VTVX Commodores, you had 2 grills in the bumper bar and like a little nose section in the middle. So we had to graft the billet grill into it, modify the factory original plastics and bumper bar, and plastic weld, fill everything up, do the return, so it looked like a factory fitted part, which was obviously what the car was trying to come across as. It's a sharp, factory styled hot rod. The wild paint scheme that you see on this car was dreamed up by Ryan Carter. Now Ryan's been around the magazine for many, many years and been very influential in the scene for years. Now the paint was applied by Matt Egan and Earl Weber. Matt is very well known worldwide for his flames and custom airbrushing, and Earl very well known in the House of Colour days. So they dreamed up the scheme and laid it all down with precision. And now in the day this car was amazing for its groundbreaking design, the two-tone which was only just sort of happening in the early 2000s, and then the flames, which was a nice throwback to the old days of the hot rods. So once the paint was all done, obviously then it's up to an interior. Like, how do you compete with the outside of this car on an interior? So the guys at Precise Trim dreamt up this, obviously with Craig as well. Again, pure 2000s, like this would be sex spec at its best, but into an Aussie muscle car, which was pretty well unheard of. So they've gone for bright red, Sparkos up front, red carpets, black and red dash. It is out there. Now that obviously complements the outside of the car as well, with the red pinstripes and the purples and the greens. It's all good colour segues, so it all works really, really well. Mechanically, in the day, as the LSs were still a very fresh sort of thing, you know, not a lot of people had played with them. There wasn't a lot of knowledge around what they were doing and how they were doing it. So not a lot was done, and obviously the legality aspects, there was just not a lot of that sort of gear. So again, in the day, this copped basically a camshaft, a tune, a better clutch, because this was originally a T56 manual car. So it was pretty basic, but at the same time, for the day, it was quite advanced. Not a lot of people had been playing with it. So it was still cool, still had the right sound, still looked right, made all the right noises, and kept people scratching their heads. So we took delivery. The car arrived from Western Australia on Australia Day. What an Australia Day present, hey? Well, we've spent the week going over the car, figuring out the best way to bring it back to life, and we'd really like to bring it back to the way it was, to sort of relive those days, because everybody today is doing the same sort of thing. So we're really trying to bring this back a bit more retro, or a bit more retrospectively, and make it how it sort of was. The car in the photos when it was purchased came across really well. As you can see, it looks really good, but unfortunately on closer inspection, it needs a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff's been changed. It's had touch-ups over the years. Not all of it is amazing. There's colour differences, there's chips, there's paint peel or clear peel. There's just lots of bits and pieces everywhere. So we're just going to basically bring it up as well as we can. We'll be painting a lot of the car again. We'll be removing the throttle bodies and going back to a standard intake. We've had the guys at VCM Performance supply us a new over-the-radiator intake. Things like all the wheels, we've got to have the wheels off the car, strip them, we've got to get all the black off of them, then get them all repolished, so that is just back to the car's natural. The front wheels on this car at the moment are 20-inch, whereas the original car ran 18. So fortunately, the car came with the original wheels, so they'll be getting restored to match the rear wheels, so all polished and back to again how it was in 2004. We've got an original set of the engine covers that we did for it back in the day being made as we speak, so they'll go back on. So engine bay will be back to sort of what it was in the day, which is really cool. Interior wise, as I said, it used to have a T56, it's now got a turbo 350. It's got an early Pro Ratchet shifter in it, which just does not suit the car. So we'll change that to a black Stealth Pro Ratchet. So again, it just sort of freshens that up. We've got the guys at Haltech supplying us a UC10 new screen, which will then tie into the ECU, so that'll all read and do everything right. So that'll update some of the interior. Airbags, I said it's got 4 airbags all around it. Now the bags are stuffed. They've been sitting around for years. The front right, as soon as you put it up, it goes straight back down. The rears have got leaks, so there'll be a full new airbag system from Air Ride Supplies. They'll be helping us there. The bonnet, the Monaro bonnet's going. We're going back to a flat bonnet as to how it used to be. We'll be changing the steering wheel. It's got an aftermarket Momo steering wheel on there, which obviously does not meet any ADRs or engineering, so we'll be putting an original airbag steering wheel back on. Now that has to get wrapped in red leather, and the airbag painted in red again, just to match everything else as to how it was in the day. We've got to go through the audio system, make sure that's all up to date, because this thing had a cracking audio system in the day, so we'll endeavour to get that working and sounding fat, because, you know, as we all know, audio's coming back in a big way. That gives a pretty good indication of what we're about to do with the car. We've got a lot to do. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a hell of a project. Anyway, while you guys are here, let's go have a look at the workshop. So a couple of things that I'm working on personally myself, other than obviously the Ute, is over here I have a VK Commodore sports sedan. Now that's an old sort of race car, that one. This campaigned through probably mid-90s, all through the early 2000s. These are a crazy thing, mid-mounted V8. This one ran a big Chev in the middle with the Hollinger gearbox, a 9-inch. Full tube chassis, very light, so everything on it is fiberglass other than the roof and A pillar, B pillar, C pillar. Lots of aeros, big, fat, wide, low. Awesome thing. That's a car that I'm building for myself. This one will be finished probably, the aim is sort of middle of next year. Yeah, so it's now running an LS based, a T56 that'll be gone through by PPG, Fitzner Performance gearboxes. And so it's just a bit more modern. That'll run a Haltech and all that sort of gear, 18-inch wheels, lots of cool stuff. And I've got to lose weight to be able to fit into it and drive it comfortably. You all should know my Fox Body Mustang by now, obviously in the current issue of Street Machine. This copped a massive rebuild last year through the guys at MPW Performance over in Melbourne. Still barra powered, turbo 400, 9-inch. It's now a 3/4 chassis with an MPW radial rear end in it. Now got a built barra in it by Dandies. Lots of other stuff all the way around. New wheels, new interior by Claude Carafano. Now running a Fueltech FT600 and destined to be back on the track very shortly. As you can see over there, there is the transmission. So again, over here you may recognise this one. This is my HQ wagon that we built last year. Now this was sort of an Australian first, where we slotted a Gen 5 LT1 engine into this one and made a heap of new components and parts to get ready for the next evolution of the LS engine. So this is, yes, as I said, Gen 5 LT1. It's a built motor, cam, heads cleaned up, 4L80 auto, still running a column shift so it keeps a bit of the old school vibes happening, all powered by Haltech. And this is just my weekend cruiser. If the weather's nice, not too hot, I'll drag this one out and we'll go for a drive and enjoy it, just fat arm down along the coast and keep all the punters happy. But this is an unrestored car. It's got scratches, it's got bumps, it's got surface rust, it's got all of that sort of gear. It's great, it just starts, drive it, does the thing, sounds good, drive it, enjoy it, love it. The epitome of street machining. But we've come across to the manufacturing area now, guys. So here you can see Mark welding together one of our HQ cross members. Obviously all jigged, all that sort of stuff. He's getting that ready just to, it'll either be for a back order or just for stock. You can see down here we've got the next one all sort of prepped. So they've already been cleaned up, all the edges deburred, sprayed with some anti-spatter to try and reduce spatter on them. And once he's finished welding that one, he'll start on the next one, clean it up, and then, yeah, move on. So that's a cool aspect that you don't really get to see a lot of in this industry is, again, Aussie-made products being made by Australians in Australia. Should see more of it. Here's a development car that we're working on. So this is a XE Falcon. A lot of the cars that I start with have to be really good cars. So unmolested, unmodified, hopefully not crashed, clean underneath. So the better the car you can start with, the better the finished product is. So this particular one, we've thrown a barra in it with our barra mounts, which are a staple. But we've just finished designing and developing the new gearbox crossmember for the BTR and ZF transmissions into these cars. So they're again a bolt-in operation, plenty of exhaust clearance. You can use these universally for a lot of other engine combos because it's so universal in its location. You can, yeah, literally put it into anything with any sort of combo, which is really good. So that's one of the new products that's just hit the website, thank God, because I've been working on that one for a long time trying to get it right, because if it ain't right, it ain't come out. So that brings us to pretty well one of the last cars that I've got in here at the moment. This is a LC Tirana. Again, it's a historic sports sedan, this one. I've only literally just purchased this a couple of weeks ago. We have a race meeting we have at Malala here in Adelaide. That is just a pure historic race meeting, so anything prior to 85 race history wise. So this is a car that was finished or started competing in 1982. How's that for some CAD design? This one runs a Hemi 6, triple 48 Webers, Ford single rail gearbox and a 10-bolt diff, Volvo brakes, and is very light. Pretty well, or again, all the panels on this are a thing of fiberglass. It's just literally the roof that's steel, and sill panels on this, which are still steel. Big wheels, they're 15 by 11 inch wheels all the way around. So yeah, she's a bit ugly. She's got horrible looking flares on it and horrible paint and horrible stickers, and she's a bit rough and ready, but engine wise it's quite a stout little thing. So it's 265, knife edge crank, forged rods, pistons, bit of comp. It's a triple 48 Webers, good obviously hydraulic clutch in it. Yeah, it makes probably north of 240 horsepower rear wheel, which isn't nuts, but in a car that's light, it's a weapon. Check out that handmade, homemade manifold. Isn't that funky? But that's how sports sedans used to be. Built in the back sheds, cut up, raced, trashed, rebuilt, back out there again next weekend. No care other than it being out on track and having fun. And that's fun. So keep your eyes out on Street Machine socials. So make sure you stay tuned, follow along, because this is a piece of Australian history. It's important, it's an icon.
It's the vibe.